Hi, it's Dana here. I'm going to do a quick video on INFP. I felt like talking about INFP, Myers-Briggs type stuff today, and the reason why is because I've been kind of picking up a lot of hobbies, and I thought, why not do a video on INFPs and hobbies? Well, recently I just finished. I finished spring semester, so now I have a lot more time to work on some hobbies and projects that I've been meaning to do that I wasn't able to during the school year. So one of them is actually all hobbies that I picked up right now are all kind of art related, and one of them being writing. So I'm doing a lot more journaling, and hopefully I'll end up being able to start writing a book or some sort of fairy tale or something like that. And then the second one being playing an instrument again. So I've actually played the flute for around, since I was 8 years old, so over 10 years. Over 15 years. So yes, I'm picking that up again because I've been kind of, ever since I graduated from high school, kind of been on and off. And last year I was at the university band, but in my second year of grad school kind of got really busy. So now hopefully for my third year I'll be able to participate in the university band again. So that is my second endeavor. And then lastly, I'm kind of trying to get my hands into art. So I'm not too much of an artist, but I try a little bit. I can do some art, but yeah, so I'm starting to get into sumi painting, so which is a Japanese black ink painting. So that is one of the things that I'm trying to see if I may have an interest in it. So first, with writing, I have gotten into writing with more of the kind of vintage types of writing instruments. So the first one I got into was the fountain pen. So I'm starting to do a lot more writing. I've been writing in journals a lot more, which I used to do all throughout when I was growing up, through my childhood. And now this is fine writing is becoming my main interest. So that's why I picked up a fountain pen. And so this is a cross-country classic. This is my favorite fountain pen, and now this is like my pen of choice for when I write in my journal. And then also I'm also trying out a quill pens, or which would also be known as a dip pen. So it comes like this. I got this as a Christmas gift from a friend. So this is like one of my new hobbies as well, and like the nib can come out and you can take and you can try to do different types of writing with it. So that's really fun. And the reason why I really I'm trying to get back into writing is because I haven't been doing it for ever since I got into college. So it's been a few years since I've been writing, and I kind of missed it because I would go back through my old journals, and I probably have like a dozen or so journals back from elementary school all the way through high school, and it was just fun reading them and seeing how much have changed and how things are different, because I used to think way differently compared to when I was a kid to now. And when I was a kid, I kind of just like talked about normal event situations, stuff like that. But now that I've gotten older, I realize I'm starting to write more about ideas. I don't really talk about events or people per se anymore. I mostly talk about ideas, anything that comes to mind, any worldly scenarios, anything that I can kind of just imagine and try to figure out whether it has a level of right or wrong, or whether it fits within my ideals, or if it has any substance or benefit towards my future and any goals that I'm aiming for. So that is a very big difference between how I used to write as a kid and how I write now, and how my thinking has changed. So very indicative of INFP-ness, so being like an INFP. So yeah, and I know I've read a lot that INFPs can tend to have an affinity for writing, so they kind of like to write stories or write journals or write about very worldly topics. And also I noticed I have a very strong affinity with language and words and semantics, and I kind of pinpointed that with my personality type, as well as my my profession that I'm studying and the interest that I found with studying my major in school, because I'm actually a computer science major. I'm studying it for grad school, and the later on that I got into the higher level courses, I realized that I had a huge interest in language theory and computer science, which is how a computer is able to interpret human language and be able to process it. So that was one of the main things that I really am interested in my major, which is funny because when I was growing up, going through high school, and sorry, I need to catch my breath. And going through high school, I was really interested in English. I think even in my junior high, in one of my junior high notebooks, I even wrote that I wanted to become a writer or an English teacher one day, which is really funny because I actually do kind of still want to be a teacher and write a book someday, but yeah, we'll see. I think they do say that in your lifetime you can have up to 3 to 5 different lives, and I think I've already gone through 2 of them. And I think you can even go up to living 8 different lives. So I can see myself, after being a successful software architect, software engineer, whatever, then I'll probably aim towards becoming working towards writing a book, and then also maybe gaining enough expertise and understanding of my career and my major to be able to teach maybe at a community college level or even part-time professorship at a university, community university, public university. Yes, so yeah, those are some things that are linked to just me wanting to be a writer, I guess, or not really like wanting to be a writer, but just like my interest in writing. So yeah, that's it. That's one of those. And then another thing is I'm trying to getting back in touch with music, because it's one of the things I grew up with my childhood that I was just it was the one thing that I could just tune out the whole world with, because there's so much in music that kind of just resonated through me, which also goes in line with the whole idea of language, because music has its own language, has its own set of rules, some set of interpretations, and set of just like being able to understand it, and the theory of language within music. So yeah, there's music theory. So isn't that crazy? It kind of just like all the whole idea of language being embedded in all these interests that I have is just really kind of coincidental. But yes, here, let me show you. I'll just show you my flute. So this is what is my weapon of choice for music, for creating music. So it is my pro flute, and I got it, I picked it up, I bought it for myself when I got into grad school to pursue being a part of the university band. So hopefully I can go back into it for my last year of graduate school, because I don't know, music is one thing where I could just like feel it completely through my whole body, and it just makes me feel so happy, and just like, I don't know, I just feel completely passionate towards it whenever I play music, when I'm just like really in the zone and just feel like creating music. It's one of the things that I find completely beautiful, and I could just shut out the whole world and find complete happiness and peace with playing music. So that is one thing. And also another connection that I noticed was that all of the idea of language and music, all that kind of stuff kind of goes with creating something. Just like creating music, creating writing, creating literature, that kind of stuff. So I guess that's where my fascination with these different hobbies comes into play. And then lastly, I'm pursuing art, which isn't really my forte, because I don't know, art just doesn't come too naturally to me. I have like a decent ability for drawing. Sorry, I'm grabbing the materials, but it's not something that's too something I'm not very good at it. It doesn't really come naturally to me. I have to work at it. So this is just like really small materials for sume painting. So yeah, that is kind of just like the little things I'm dabbling in. But art I'm okay with. I guess what I notice is that I'm not I don't feel the same connection with art and painting as I do with writing and music, because maybe it's just because it's a visual kind of art, and I don't really appreciate visual and anything that I can see as much as something like music or writing, where it's all imagination and you're up to your own interpretation. Yes, on some level art can be interpreted very subjectively in your own terms, but I don't know, I just feel like I don't really like being confined to art sometimes. I don't know, I'm not really sure how to explain it. I feel like, on some level I feel like art, to me, maybe I just don't understand it well enough, that it doesn't really have too much structure, which is what I really like about music and writing. There are a lot of semantics with, there are a lot of rules with how essays are written, even in math, how proofs are written, and in music, how you're supposed to format music and write it, and any other things within music theory for creating music and also interpreting it. So I like that there are so many rules and those kind of constructs. You can be creative, but then you can also, to do it more appropriately, I guess, you have a set of rules to follow as well. I know art has it as well, but I don't understand it because I never really studied it. But I'm sure, to me, sometimes, say, if it was more modern, contemporary art, I wouldn't really appreciate it that much, because it doesn't really speak to me. I know, like, older paintings, older architecture, like, say, older buildings and stuff, that kind of stuff really hits a chord with me, and, like, I can kind of, like, really appreciate it because it's history. Maybe that goes with my introverted sensing and my introverted feeling, kind of just, like, I have this deep appreciation for things of the past, but as far as aesthetics go, like, things in terms of art or dance or movies and that kind of stuff, it doesn't stick to me as much as something that I can interpret within my own imagination. So that is, I guess that's why I have such a strong affinity towards intangible things. I'm not sure if other INFPs or NFPs kind of like relate to that, but that's how I understand. That's mostly where my interest lies, and that's what can pique my interest. So yeah, and then lastly, yeah, those are the three hobbies that I'm picking up. Again, 3 arts. And then the last hobby that I'm trying to get back into is obviously, well, part of my major. I'm planning on making some sort of program application because I need to get ready for my graduate project. So yes, programming has always been a hobby for a while, ever since like elementary school. So yeah, I guess what I noticed was that it's just all creating something. It's always like creating something either through writing or music or programming. Those are all, it's funny because those are all can pretty much be intangible arts, because music, yes, it can be written down, you can see it visually on a note of paper, sheet of paper, sheet music. Same with writing, but the way it's interpreted is through your imagination. Although programming is a little bit different, software is a little bit different, which is what I create, because in the computer engineering world, it's kind of like, it's the intangible engineering level, where if you were doing stuff like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer engineering, you make stuff, like make physical, tangible things. But for computer science, it's not really tangible because it's just code and you can't really touch code. So that's probably how I landed in this major. So, and that's probably why I was so interested in programming when I was really young. But yeah, so those are my hobbies. Let me know if you guys have any similar hobbies, or if you feel the same way about these kind of hobbies. I'd like to hear what you guys are up to as fellow INFPs out there. But yes, thanks for taking the time to talk to me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye.